Okay, we're online. Somebody will be out there watching on this frozen morning, or like me, if you just come through Woodthorpe. It's a nightmare, but still, never mind. And has anybody seen the reindeer that's been nicked from there? Yeah, I don't know. Don't pinch anything nowadays. Anyway, we've got the Appointments and Conditions of Service Committee. The first part is in public, and the second part is exclusion of the press when we get to item 6. So apologies for absence and substitutions. Okay, there are none. Can we say? There's what, sorry? Councillor Adams, apologies, and I'm not quite sure where Michael is. So we'll move on. And the second item is to approve as a correct record the minutes of meeting held on 4th of October 2023. That's on pages 5 to 7. Can I move those? We agreed? Agreed, Paul. Thank you. And moving on to 3, which is declarations of interest. Any to declare? I see none. Okay, then we'll move on quickly again. And we'll move on to item 4, which is the pay policy statement 24-25 and a report of the head of HR performance and service planning.
Thank you, Chair.
David.
That's a good title, isn't it? So, yeah, maybe. Good morning, everybody. So, the pay policy statement is a document that has been published now for quite some years. It's a requirement in law to publish a pay policy statement. I think that for a few of you in the room, it may be sort of familiar territory. For others, it might be quite new. So I'll probably just spend a little bit of time just introducing it, just to give you a little bit of background maybe, and some idea about the sort of things that are included in there. So the pay policy statement in law is a requirement under the Local Government Act 2011. It's a requirement to publish information at a snapshot point in time and before March each year. We use the document also locally to report requirements made through the Local Government Transparency Code. So, in effect, it's quite a full document, but it's a way of, I suppose, incorporating a wide variety of information that is required of us to make public. The Transparency Code requires information to be produced by the start of February each year, which is why we would normally expect to see the pay policy statement being brought to you now, so that it gives chance for full council to approve in January as well. So the document does require that approval through full council. Pay policy statement itself sets out policies relating to pay and conditions of senior officers, crikey, that's a good word, isn't it? Remuneration of chief officers and lowest paid employees, and the relationship in terms of ratio between those groups. In terms of the range of policies, well, they're all in there. I suppose things of interest, but particularly perhaps are policies relating to performance-related pay for those chief officers. So you'll see on pages 34, 35, the details about those arrangements, for example. And then in some more detail in respect to the chief executive on page 55. And that item is being reviewed later on in the agenda today as well. Locally, we also take the opportunity to use the document to talk about our gender pay gap information. Page 38 gives some information there. I suppose the headline figure that's used for gender pay gap is the mean ratio, 2.9 this year, which is the lowest that it's been for 3 years, certainly. And so, in many ways, quite a positive picture, and certainly in terms of industry standard, a good result. The document also is used to report information that's required through the Trade Union Regulations 2017. And again, on page 72, you'll see information there. So that shows us that we have 10 union representatives on executives. And again, you'll be familiar with the fact that we recognise both Unison and GMB. In terms of pay bill, we spend about 0.1% of pay bill on support of trade union activities. So, also we have started to include in the pay policy statement information about special severance payments. And again, there's quite some detail there, starting page 71. The government issued further guidance, statutory guidance, in May last year, and you'll see that we use this document, I suppose, to reference the guidance and also to make it clear about how we apply that locally. So all sorts of rules, I suppose, about how public money is used and used well, and making sure that public money isn't spent inappropriately for exit payments that would relate to any employee, not just to chief officers. Page 11 sets out, for example, some of the requirements for reporting. So payments of £100,000 plus, it's a decision through full council. 20,000 and up to 100,000 would be head of paid service with authority of leader as well. So it's a way of trying to control spend for exit payments. The pay policy statement itself requires us to publish information about ratios. I've talked about that. And on page 13, what you'll see is a summary table. I suppose if you look at the information from last year to this year, quite some shift, I suppose, and shift, I would argue, for the better as well in terms of those ratios. So the ratio of highest pay to lowest pay has reduced. It was 5.93 to 1 last year and 5.44 this year. So if we remember what's happened, well, things have happened nationally in terms of pay. So what we've seen for the last couple of years is a pay award made to NJC employees of £1,925, both last year and this year. So when you make a pay award of a fixed amount, what it does is to increase as a percentage, as a proportion, at a much higher rate for lower paid employees. In addition to that, locally, what we've done is to move our lowest pay point, and now it's 0.5 within band 3. So what we've done for our lowest paid employees is to shift them up, and that shows in that ratio, that improvement in the ratio. In a similar way, what we've done this year as well is to carry out a pay review that affected quite a large number of people in the middle pay bands, I suppose. We looked at the jobs, particularly down at the depot, some of the skilled driving jobs and skilled worker jobs in the PASC and waste teams. So that resulted in an uplift in some of those middle banded posts, and that shows here. So if you look in that table at median pay, for example, it's a 20% rise in median pay. And again, that shows through when you look at the ratio, the proportion between highest pay and median pay. So I suppose for me, it's a positive picture about what the organisation has tried to do for our lowest paid employees. All of that's documented here, and again, it is a full document and lots of information. It's a factual document, I suppose, and a reference document. It is presented to you today for 2 recommendations, Chair, please. Firstly, to approve the pay policy statement and the method of implementation, and then secondly, for authority to refer the content of the pay policy statement to Council and then publication on our websites.
Thanks, David. That's interesting. Just on page 17 there, the lowest rate of pay, 23,500. Is that, so that would be a loader, would it, or something like that?
Yeah, the range of different jobs, Chair, and refuse loader, cleaner, but actually now, because we've changed where the pay point sits, those posts will sit alongside of some of our administrative staff as well. So it's quite a range of posts.
Yeah. I mean, I ask that because anybody that's watching this will think, oh, well, I know people think the leader of the council's on 100,000. Well, I can assure them I'm definitely not. Responsibility is 15,000, and the backbenchers here who do a significant amount of work are on 4,000 and a few pennies, which they are looking at now to try and improve that. But just to scotch this myth that gets run around on that. The other is, I would like, not for discussion in here, I would like at some point we have a exclusive in the press and public item on probably the next one or one after that on the special severance payments policy, because it is concerning that the amount. I don't think we could do a great deal about it. No. But I think we need to fully understand as to where those payments are, because it's a significant chunk of the budget's gone on that. So are there any other questions on this one? There are none, so we're on page 9. You all right, Paul? Okay. So there's 2 items there. Approve the proposed pay policy statement and method of implementation, and refer the general content of the new pay policy statement to the Council for approval, subsequent to publication on the Council's website, and that will be, what, the January meeting?
So January meeting, yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay then. I'll move that. Seconded. We agreed? Yeah, thank you very much. And we're now moving on. Any other items? There are no other items notified to me that are urgent. So I'll move the number 6, which is exclusion of press public, and that is to move that under section 100A for the Local Government Act 1972, the public and press be excluded from the meeting during consideration of the ensuing report on the grounds that the report involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 3 of part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972. And I'll move that. Seconded. Yeah, it's agreed. We're agreed. Thank you.